My name is Olivia, and I am very humbled to be giving this valedictorian speech. Before we get started, I wanted to thank all of those who volunteered on the pinning committee to make this amazing event possible. Thank you for your hard work in organizing this ceremony and making the best slideshow. You all deserve a huge round of applause. So the past 4 years have really flown by, and similar to what Sarah said, I'm going to reflect on how we have grown since the beginning of nursing school. In our first year, we learned how to be brave. Most of us began our nursing journey right when the second wave of COVID-19 hit the country. Back then, the news overwhelmed us with reports of nursing shortages and severe burnout. And although we could hide from our professors by turning off our cameras and muting our microphones, we couldn't hide from the realities of a flawed healthcare system we would soon enter. Many of us wondered, what have I gotten myself into? It takes bravery to acknowledge that these challenges do exist and still commit to the path that we chose. It shows that we all have a deep-rooted desire to help others, even when it presents a risk for us. We are a class who feels fear, yet we harbor a type of rebellious hope, a desire to challenge the status quo that drives us to make meaningful changes to the lives around us. In our second year, we embraced diligence. Starting second year, things got real, because now we were responsible for actually caring for human lives. This meant we had to quickly pick up professional nursing norms, health assessment skills, and the theories behind our interventions. When we first started our geriatrics placement, I remember standing outside of my patient's room, practicing over and over how I would say hi to them. And when I finally built up the confidence to go in the room, the patient was already sleeping. I remember feeling really embarrassed to ask my clinical instructor, hey, is it okay if I bother my patient? But since then, I've never stopped bugging people with questions. So asking questions when we're uncertain, no matter how small or obvious the answer may be, isn't a sign of weakness. It shows that we are diligent to want to get things right for our patients. Okay, now third year. What can I say? Third year was brutal, and somehow, yeah, it was just brutal. Somehow we all stood resilient. This was the first time we all met each other face to face for the first time in that very cramped and steep med-surg auditorium. And little did we know, the strangers that we would sit beside on that first day would become some of our very best friends. They were the ones who understood our struggles. And in commemoration of the chaotic spirit of third year, I will now share a few journal entries that I wrote. Okay. Dear Diary, in less than a week, I witnessed a very loud, angry, jelly bean-looking baby being ripped out of a mom. And the next day, I shrouded a very silent, stoic, and rigid body as their family cried. I have no idea how to feel about life anymore. Dear Diary, how are we expected to live, laugh, and love in these conditions? Why do we have to commute over an hour between three-hour courses lined back to back to back? I'm so tired. Dear Diary, when did my blood pressure start getting so high? Maybe it's the way that I've been waking up at 5:50 a.m., frantically digging through my closet to find my scrubs, running down the staircase in the dark, rushing to pack my bags while I feed the cats and brush my teeth and tie my hair and run out the door all at the same time. It was hard, and I cried a lot in third year, but I knew I wasn't alone. We all faced immense challenges, and yet we found the resiliency to get up every morning, to study and manage to pass all of our classes, even med-surg. And most importantly, we started to find the emotional resiliency to process what we saw. Some days this meant compartmentalizing traumatic experiences. Other days that meant fully feeling our emotions, and having a really good cry with our friends. We all came out of third year stronger than ever. And finally, in our fourth year, we learned that we are capable. Our bravery that carried us from first year gave us the strength to advocate for large-scale improvements in our community care. Our diligence from second year let us learn how to teach others about health promotion, disease management, and so much more. Our resilience that pushed us through third year allowed us to move on from students who were barely just surviving to valuable assets of the healthcare team. And after our 1,106 hours of combined clinical placement, we can now tell our fourth year selves that we have made it. We have proven that we are capable of taking on the responsibilities of a registered nurse. Sitting in this very auditorium, there are people who have nurtured and saved the lives of premature babies. There are people who instilled hope into patients with life-changing diagnoses. There are people who guided palliative care patients and their families through death and grief. And there are people who coordinated large-scale public healthcare projects to improve the lives of thousands. From the very beginning of life, through all of its complexities, to the very end, from a single person, to their families, to their communities. We, as nurses, are interwoven into the fabric of human life, and we will continue to find novel ways how to help others through our lifelong journey. As the class of 2024 graduates, we stand together on the edge of a new life chapter. I know sometimes it might not seem this way because we're so busy studying for the NCLEX or dealing with the CNO's fees. But we are here at the end of our undergraduate degree, and we did not get here alone. On behalf of our cohort, I wanted to truly thank all of the friends and family present today. You stood by us through our early mornings, our late nights, through our tears and our lowest moments. You were there at times where all we wanted to do was just give up. And you gave us encouragement in the forms of late night phone calls, plates of freshly cut fruit, and Uber Eats deliveries. Very good. I wanted to thank all of the dedicated professors, lab instructors, clinical instructors, and preceptors who did not only teach us the curriculum, but emphasized how to use critical thinking, how to embrace our mistakes, and how to continue improving ourselves, always. We could not have gotten here without your commitment and patience. And finally, I wanted to acknowledge those who could not be here with us today, whether they are unable to attend or are no longer here in this world with us. Thank you for inspiring us to continue down this path, and we hope that we made you proud. Today marks the day that we stop labeling ourselves as just nursing students. We are a group of brave, diligent, resilient, and capable nurses, ready to face the future ahead with fresh eyes. I am so excited to see where everyone goes and the positive impacts you will all bring to your communities. Thank you so much for listening, and congratulations to the very special class of 2024.